Krishna's mercy is always there. It is your misdeeds of free will. You are given the opportunity, that is fortune, but you do not accept the fortune, that is your misfortune. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, we have Sadhak Seva announcement text. Sadhak Seva is practical seva opportunities to help each other in situations like job search, business referral, house search, finding loans officer, taxable help, legal help, health-related help, matrimonial-related, and many other types of help. Sadhak Seva means we should not only help in motivating others for japa, but also help in other practical ways. Everyone who is a member of Japa conference must also help everyone else in a more practical sense. Presently, please share your name and number to our Everyday Chant Harinam Japa WhatsApp group or email to everydaychant@gmail.com. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Namaste Vyasya Swagatam Bhakta Ganam Kripya Tvanam Evam Vas Nagre Nam Vadatu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Surinder Bhandari from South Africa. Hare Krishna to all the devotees.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Dhanyavad Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Mama Naam Halada Das, I'm Srimad Nagare Vasami. Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. My humble obeisance to all the devotees on the phone call. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Dhanyavad Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा श्रीमती माताजी हर्षिता माताजी एवं समस्त भक्तगण मम नाम श्यामरसिका देवदासी अहम जर्मन टाउन नगरे वसामि.
हरे कृष्णा, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Dhanyavad Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, would anybody else like to announce their names?
Hello, this is Ipsita Mataji from Orlando. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Dhanyavad Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, would anybody else like to announce their names? Hare Krishna, we are reading chapter 1 summary. Summary of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1 in detail. Prabhuji, could you please take over the call now?
Hare Krishna. So, we are very fortunate to start with the Bhagavad Gita again, and by Lord Krishna's mercy, we have finished the summary, the introduction summary of Bhagavad Gita. Now today we'll be looking forward for summary of the first chapter, and then I think we'll be beginning from the verses again, from first verse. So before we start, let us start with the prayers. Om Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuno Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Sa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamisya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Kam Vitamisya
Jagat
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Tade Swami Niti Namni
Daivastu Vyastam Shishatu Gunavinashitanushya
Puravani Pracharine Nirvishwadi Pashyatati Satarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ekam karoti vachalam tamam rate griyat kapatam mande Guruji Mutali Chaitanya Hare Krishna. Just a second. So before we start, it's been like a long time since I have given this class in this group. But then I was so fortunate to think that just this is like the most blissful time of the year, because this is the time where many festivals are coming up, especially like day before yesterday. It was Balram Jayanti, the appearance of Lord Balram. And within like within a week, we have the biggest celebration of our festival, of our, one of the festivals of our movement, that is the celebration of Sri Krishna Janmashtami. And then the biggest festival next day is the Prabhupada's appearance day. So this is like one of the best time of the year where we can meditate and go deeper in how to receive the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, receive the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna and his beautiful expansion as Sri Baldev Ji. So I was just meditating yesterday that how Balramji is the one, it's like we need strength for doing anything, even for a small child to turn his, when he's born, he's a very small child. But for turning also, he needs a lot of strength, turning around and when he starts crawling, when he starts walking, when he starts running, when he starts going to the school and everything like that. These all material things I'm telling, but still, like for that small things, the child needs strength. So as a spiritual practitioner, the child is needing so much strength to do these small activities. What about us? We are trying to practice spiritual life in such a ambience or such an atmosphere where it's not at all like conducive for our practice. We are staying in, most of us are staying in United States, where it's not at all feasible for us to act in a Krishna conscious way most of the times. When we go outside, we see a lot of people breaking all the four regulative principles. These are like the norms which, they break as soon as they get up. It's like, first thing they eat is they drink coffee. That's like starting the day with an intoxicate. And then, the breakfast goes with meat eating and other things like that. And, they are engaging themselves in so many simple activities. So for them, it's very, very common. But for us, it's like something which we are like always wanting to avoid these things. And for that, we need a lot of strength. We need a lot of strength, and we are practicing our spiritual life in such an ambience, such an atmosphere. So we really need a lot of strength to practice our, to keep on practicing every day, day in and day out, chanting 16 rounds, getting up early in the morning, doing, prayers to the Supreme Lord, singing Mangalarti. It's like a lot of steadiness is required, a lot of strength is required. And all this strength can be, we can get only when we take shelter of Sri Balram. Because Balramji is like the source of giving the strength to everyone. He is like the one who is expanding himself to serve Krishna in all the forms, whatever is required for Krishna, whatever things are required for Krishna to be served, is expanding in that form. And here we are trying to practice spiritual life. So how much strength we need actually for practicing. So unless and until a devotee takes shelter of Sri Balramji, it's very difficult actually. Every day we need strength. We need strength of to practice our spiritual life. To practice in the in staying in this Kali Yuga and practicing spiritual life. We need a lot of strength. So and that the source of strength is Sri Balram, because he's the one who gives strength to everyone. Practice. So unless and until a devotee takes shelter of Sri Balram, it's very, very difficult. Very difficult that he'll be blissful in his practices in Krishna consciousness. So I was just meditating yesterday that, how it is such a miraculous thing that, we are practicing. And he is representing the Adi Gurus. All the Gurus are coming, his main strength comes when, the spiritual master or Srila Prabhupada, who is the representative of Balramji, they are coming in our lives and giving us great amount of strength and hope, determination by their instructions and by their teachings, that we can lead our life in a very wonderful way by becoming more and more Krishna conscious. So it's great amount of strength is required. And these days are like auspicious days, very auspicious days for making our spiritual life more and more vibrant, more and more more and more blissful by taking shelter of such great personalities like Shri Balramji. Shri Balramji, Shri Krishna. Krishna's appearance day is coming, Janmashtami is coming. So our consciousness should be so much so in absorbing these things, the mercy of the Lord, that every day it should be like a great festival for us. Like this coming few days, every day we should be soaking ourselves in absorbing the pastimes of Sri Krishna and Balramji. It is recommended, very strongly recommended, that a devotee should be reading Krishna book at least prior 1 month at least, and try to complete as many as chapters as possible and receive the mercy of Lord. At least now we have at least a week, so at least 10-15 chapters we should complete before Janmashtami now. Every day, a couple of hours, at least we can just read Krishna book, and get our thoughts absorbed in Krishna, the pastimes of Lord Krishna, how he's enacting his pastimes in Vrindavan now, how he's acting, he's taking birth, he's killing of demons one after another. Putna is killed, Trinavarta is killed, Shaktasura is killed, Kalia is being, subdued. So all these pastimes we should absorb ourselves so much that it's like the consciousness is just thinking when Krishna Janmashtami is coming. We are so absorbed in the mercy of Krishna that the pastimes of Krishna, that we receive a lot of remembrance of him throughout the day, throughout the time. So this should be like a great amount of meditation when we are coming through this festival. So festival comes, that doesn't mean that just one day before we are just getting ready for our some services in the temple. No, it's a time where we go deeper in our meditation of the Lord by increasing our consciousness, by hearing about him, by reading about him. It's highly recommended that, one can hear a lot of lectures about the pastimes of Lord Krishna also, if he is not able to read. But, there should be some attempt which is made to, absorb our consciousness. So this is like very, very wonderful time where we go deeper, more deeper in our bhakti. And the next day, after Krishna Janmashtami, Prabhupada appearance day, the day which is very, very auspicious for all the devotees of ISKCON. Every devotee should go and beg the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, that by his mercy, one is able to practice, one is able to get this special opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness. Without him, it was not possible at all that we would have got any opportunity to practice or understand Bhagavad Gita. We are starting the Bhagavad Gita again. But without his mercy, without his sacrifice, without his compassionate nature, it would have never been possible that we are sitting here and doing some wonderful Krishna Katha, changing our direction of our life, changing the goal of our life. All this thing had happened just because of the sacrifice of Srila Prabhupada. So it's very important that we absorb ourselves in expressing our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. So these are like few of my thoughts which I was thinking I'll present it to all of you before we start summarizing the chapter of Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. So I was reading S.B. Keshav Maharaj's book, since I was told that I have to give the summary of Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. In his book Gita Life, S.B. Keshav Maharaj summarizes this very wonderful first chapter with an acronym called doubt. He names all the chapters with different acronyms, and he divides the sections of Bhagavad Gita, divides the sections in the chapter with this acronym. So the first chapter, he names it as doubt, D-O-U-B-T-S, D-O-U-B-T. So we'll be observing, we'll be seeing how, this first chapter has been, the cause of Arjuna's doubt, and how, he's been presenting his doubts to Krishna. In our spiritual lives also, a time comes, when we are practicing our spiritual life, and there is always some pressure from here and there, from the family, from peers, from the society, from media, from other places, that there is always a pressure that whether we will be successful in our spiritual life or not. We are practicing, definitely, there is no doubt about that stuff, and we are in the right path, but will our, will my practices be the right thing where I can be very successful in my practice of bhakti? And sometimes there are doubts created in our life like this, like will I be successful? Will I be will this life be a perfect life, or am I missing something by coming to this practice? Am I really in the right path sometimes? Am I doing the right thing? So these are like some doubts which are always created because because of our narrow-mindedness actually. And these doubts are like sometimes they take over, and they're like big demons actually, and they take over our enthusiasm for practicing bhakti, and they are like like a very strong what do you call this obstacles on the path of our faith, the faith what we can have in progressing the practicing of bhakti. So these confusion, these doubts, these uncertainties, all these things actually should be removed from our mind actually. And this is what is the onset of Arjuna's life also, when he's starting to prepare for the battle. So when we are also preparing for the battle, it's like these doubts have to be cleared off. And this is where the message of Gita comes in our lives, which is very, very perfect. That these messages from Gita, the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna helps us to clear all these doubts also. And this is where we can take shelter more of the message of Bhagavad Gita. So if you understand this, this very wonderful acronym doubt, the first one and the first 12 verses of this chapter. There are like 46 verses in this chapter. And this first 1 to 12 chapter, this is Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan. The D stands for Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, and they are like, they are assembled in the Kurukshetra, the battle of Kurukshetra, and they have come just because of their selfish desire, to enjoy separately from, without the Pandavas. They have come for the selfish desire, and they have come to uproot their cousins from the um, complete planet actually. And there, they are sitting, Dhritarashtra is sitting in his palace and he's doubting and he's inquiring from Sanjaya. So he's presenting all his doubts in the first chapter, first verse. Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetra. He's asking his doubt about what is going to happen in the battlefield. So, sitting in the palace, he's inquiring about the battlefield. And here Duryodhan is actually trying to boost his army by, boastfully, trying to show others what is going to happen here in this thing. So this is like the first scene of the battlefield of Bhagavad Gita, where Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana are assembling their, presenting their doubts about, what is going to happen. And this complete initial scene only we can see how the Bhagavad Gita speaks about I, me, and mine. Dhritarashtra is speaking about my sons, Duryodhana is speaking about my army, and it's like everything revolving around me and mine, and what is happening around me. So here it's like very strongly the conviction happening between the selfish gain and material pleasure what they are going to get. So such material entanglement that the persons are oblivious to the ill effect of what others are what about my other actions are going to take place. So this first D represents Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan's mentality of I, me, and mine. And then there is O. O represents of omniscious results. Immediately Krishna and others, they blow the conch shell. And this is where, the significance of the sound vibration also come. That how the sound vibration is creating such, removes the great amount of fear from the hearts of the Pandavas. And the same sound vibration is creating a great amount of fear in the hearts of Duryodhana. The just blowing of the conch shell is removing that thing. It's like, one of the things, when the battle is going to begin and they're just indicating how that the battle will be beginning just because by the blowing of the conch. Like sometimes you see in the, army of, not in the army, like in the match also, when the players in the football, they start assembling and they are ready to start. Immediately the referee starts blowing his whistle. So this is what is happening, that the war is about to begin. And Duryodhana is again boastful about his appearance, that he's trying to boastfully present that we have so many great warriors. He starts naming everyone, and then starts blowing his conch shell and other things. But these are like the sound vibration of the Kuru dynasty. It's very, very low in comparative to the sound vibration generated from the blowing of conch and trumpets and others, from the Pandava side. Was, it indicated that there will be victory. There will be victory definitely on the side of the Pandavas, just because of the blowing of the conch shell. And then immediately what happens after blowing of the conch shell? Arjuna is, a little bit confused. And this is where the uncertainty comes, the verses 21 to 27. Arjuna is expressing his uncertainty about his taking part in the war. Despite his righteous and noble position, Arjuna is still like trying to find a means to understand, how he is going to face so much opposition from the family members. And then he asks, Krishna that, please drive the chariot in the middle of the battlefield, which was not at all a right thing to be done at that time. But here Arjuna is asking that, yes, please take my chariot there in the middle of the battlefield and let me see what all things are going to happen. Whom am I going to face in the battlefield? Let me just have a proper a vision of what is happening. And here Arjuna, seeing everyone face to face, feels a great amount of pressure that, under the pressure that, I have to kill so many of my relatives. And, what is the certainty that I'll be enjoying this thing? That is the next bewilderment of Arjuna's, that, from verse number 28 to 30, he is bewildered of foreseeing the sufferings and the death of so many of his relatives. Inevitable consequences of the warfare, what is going to deadly warfare, what is going to take place. So here he is expressing his bewilderment by, by seeing that, it's like not at all certain for him to take part in this battlefield. And his confusion grows deeper and deeper. And his lack of understanding about his spiritual identity and his relationship with the Lord has been totally shattered here. And he's like completely thinking about now Arjuna is thinking about his perspective of his vision of seeing the warfare. And then the last thing, B-O-U-B, T is the turning point in the battlefield from the verse number 31 to 46, where Arjuna, immediately gets relieved from, all the arguments what he's going to present. He presents like 4 to 5 arguments, expressing his preparation, that, expressing his mentality that why I should not take part in this battlefield. So it's very, very important that this is like the doubt, what everyone experiences. And this is the doubt where Arjuna is also expressing his doubts, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Srila Prabhupada had given many lectures in the first chapter also. And few of the lectures, they justify, they express the Arjuna's doubts very nicely. Now I just wanted to see that we can go verse to verse also and just summarize every verse so that we can see what is happening. In verse number 1, 1.1.1, where Dhritarashtra is speaking. Dharmashetre Kurukshetre Samaveda Yotsava Mamaka Pandava Chaiva Kim Akruta Sanjaya. What is happening here is Dhritarashtra is inquiring from Sanjaya, what did they do after the assembly of Pandavas and the Kurus? What did they do? And this is what has been going to take place. The war is going to start. But still, the war is going to start, but still Dhritarashtra is asking, what did they do? Like, it's like a very wonderful thing, what Dhritarashtra has a doubt or something like, the first chapter, the first verse, Prabhupada tells very wonderfully also that Dhritarashtra was having a doubt that the holy site of Kurukshetra should not have an influence just on the Pandavas, but it should have an influence on the side of Kauravas also. Because these, my sons are not so holy comparative to the sons of the Pandavas. So it's very important to understand that Dhritarashtra had that mentality, that what did these personalities do, my sons and sons of Kurus, they did there on the battlefield. And then the next verse explains Sanjaya's answer, that Duryodhan approaches Dronacharya, and he starts telling about the different aspects. This from the next verse, Duryodhan is expressing Duryodhan points out the mistakes of Dronacharya, that he did a great mistake by training Drupada, his Drupada's son, that he's the chief commander and army chief of the Kuru dynasty, the Pandav dynasty, Pandav military. And now he has arranged his military in such a way that, they are ready to, defeat us. So this is verse number 3. And verse number 4, Duryodhan is describing the warriors, different warriors who are going to opposing the army. And here Duryodhan names more and more warriors, who are there in my side, so that, everyone is aware that, the team should be ready. The team should be knowing each other very nicely, with whom they'll be fighting. It should be like that everyone is knowing each other and everyone knows each other's strengths. That's what he's encouraging as a team leader, trying to encourage, but sometimes he's trying to find faults, because of his, witty nature, because of his very, very cunning nature, trying to, bring out good and bad among his army. And then next is he's observing, he's selling more and more names, more and more warriors, you know, in the next couple of verses. And then Duryodhana is describing about his more powerful warriors ready to lay down his life. In verse number 9, he's ready to tell that, you see, most of the warriors are ready to lay down lives for me. That means it's already accepting that, many warriors will be defeated. Many warriors will die. And, they're ready to die for me. Rather than dying for Krishna, they're ready to die for me. So this is, Duryodhana's mentality that people are ready to kill my for me. They're ready to die for me. And the next is like, Duryodhana's comparative uh, comparative mentality in verse number 10. Duryodhana is comparing very nicely. Our army is protected by the most powerful general, Bhishma Dev, and who is very, very powerful. Whereas the army of Pandava is protected by less experienced personality, and their thing is very, very limited. And all of us, everyone should support Bhishma Dev. He was trying to encourage even Karna subtly that he should also take part in the battlefield and Bhishma Dev is there. But Bhishma, Karna immediately had before the battle only he had taken off that till the time Bhishma Dev is there on the battlefield that I will not fight. That means he wanted Bhishma Dev to die. That was the mentality of Karna. And he was supporting Duryodhana. He was one of the greatest warriors which Duryodhana had. But he was not ready to gel with Bhishma Dev and fight battle with him. If both of them would have fought together, definitely it would have been a great chaos, in the battlefield. But somehow or the other, because of the wrong mentality of Karna, he did not wanted to take part in the battlefield when it was time for him to cooperate with them. This is what it teaches us, sometimes if we keep just our ego aside, we can achieve more things, but then, our egos become so big sometimes that we are not ready to cooperate with devotees. That's where, the movement is at the loss most of the time. This is one of the lessons what we can take also from here. That, Duryodhana wanted to know that both of them is supporting Bhishma Dev. This is like the subtle points what the Gita teaches us, that how one should be ready to bend down, serve together. If they would have done, then it would have been the best thing. What would have taken place? The war would have taken place. So Duryodhana considered here in the 11th verse that that others might feel little less praise, that he's not praising Bhishma Dev. So he's praising here, so that he's diplomatically praising Bhishma Dev, so that the other great heroes also should support this old person, because he's a needy person. Old person always are in need. He's just supporting them. And then Duryodhana's confident that, Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya, they will definitely have, in the battlefield not be taking side of the Pandavas, because these two personalities had great soft corner for the Pandavas. One was grandfather and another was teacher. And grandfather, always the grandsons are very, very dear. So, and somehow the Kauravas could not become very dear to Bhishma Dev. So Pandavas were very, very dear. They wanted somehow to, Duryodhana wanted that, it should not happen that, because of the soft corner, Bhishma Dev should not let them down in the battlefield. So here in the verse 11, Duryodhana is encouraging Bhishma Dev that, oh, Bhishma Dev, please leave aside your emotional attachment to the Pandavas. for the sake of the dynasty, Guru dynasty, to fight with great amount of vigor. So this is like, this is what is the presentation of fear, one of the fear of Duryodhana, which is presenting here suddenly. And this is the first section of the first chapter. First verse represents Duryodhana's Dhritarashtra doubt, with your Dhritarashtra inquiry, and then the doubt of Bhishma Dev, doubt of Drona. Duryodhana's doubts are, more or less being presented here about, encouragement, doubts, and other things. Support are presented here in this couple of in the 10 verses, till the second verse to the 12th verse. And from 12th verse, this wonderful blowing of the conch shell, the sign of victory for the Pandavas, is been executed, 12 to 19. So it is like very wonderfully presented. And Bhishma Dev blows his conch shell, like making the sound. First is Bhishma Dev blowing the conch shell, and very loudly he blows the conch shell. But then that is good, and immediately all the drums, bugles, trumpets, horns, everything are blown together. That makes a tumultuous sound. But still, it's not causing a fear among many people. But then what happens? Immediately, as soon as Arjuna and Krishna, they blow their conch shell, everyone is blowing their conch shell. So here in this verses, this the different conch shells of the personalities are also described. That Rishikesh, the conch shell of Lord Krishna is Panchaganya. And Arjuna's conch shell is Devadatta. And Bhima's conch shell is Kundara. And Yudhishthira is Ananta Vijay. And Nakul and Sahadev is Sabhosh and Manipuksha. So these conch shells representatively, they start blowing. And just by blowing of the conch shell, we can understand how all the fear among the Kauravas army is being addressed here. Because they feel like there is a great amount of sound vibration has created a great amount of fear in the hearts of these personalities. So this is about blowing of the conch shell. Guru's hearts are shattered. That is the 19th verse mental. That Guru's hearts are literally shattered just because of the conch shell, what has been, because of the uproarious sound vibration created by these conch shells. And then there is observing the army. Now this is where Arjuna's great amount of concern comes. Verse number 22 to 27, where Arjuna, goes and observes the army, and Numali is observing. The first is the description of Arjuna's chariot, how Lord Hanuman is sitting on the back of the chariot. Krishna is there on the chariot. He is like, this has been there, that he'll be victorious because of the signs, what he is seeing there. And then Krishna is like the infallible Achyuta, who is trying to save, who is drawing the army, who is drawing the chariot in between the army. And this is where, Krishna is, Arjuna is observing the army. Arjuna is observing the man, and whom all he is seeing. This is in the verse 26 to 27. He is seeing father, grandfather, teachers, uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, father-in-laws, like everyone is being absorbed by Krishna, by Arjuna. It's where he's feeling like all that. His father, everyone is a symbol. Vidra, Acharya, Ratra, Putra, Vidra, grandsons, sons, friends, everyone is assembled here. So this observation is made by Arjuna. Arjuna has been like really thinking whether he should be. He's another illusion now. His confusion grows more deeper and deeper now. Arjuna sees all his relatives on the both sides. And this is where he is overwhelmed. He's expressing it with compassion, expressing his doubts,
his reasons for not to fight. There are 4 reasons actually that why he doesn't want to fight. We discussed this 4 reasons now. Why Arjuna did not want to fight? Arjuna did not want to fight because he developed great amount of compassion for his friends and relatives. And then that is, from verse number 28 and 30, he's expressing his compassion. That how I should not be, killing them. And then he expresses that, what is the point of enjoying the victory without their presence? Or for whose sake should I enjoy, be victorious? Even if I become victorious, for whose sake should I be victorious? I have no one to enjoy. My friends and relatives are all going to die in the battlefield. What is the point of becoming victorious? And then there is always, after this, he presents it out, and there is fear of single activities. This fear, great amount of fear, the heart. And I'm going to come into such a single activities. Like a ghora papa, like ghora papa, building itself and ghora papa. So he doesn't want to take part in it. But then he tells about the destruction of the family tradition by because of this thing there will be Varna Sankara, which will take place. This unwanted progeny will be born because the woman will not be protected because of the great amount of loss in the battle. If men are died, the men die, who will protect them? Because of there's no protection. There is great amount of destruction to the family. This is one of the reasons for that makes expressive. And the last decision, last thing he tells is about the indecision that I cannot take part in this battlefield. And this is what is expressing here in this battlefield of the shape. And they're like the different reasons what Arjuna is expressing and why he doesn't want to fight in this battlefield. And this is how chapter ends, because he can by Arjuna. So, these are like some of the things. Other thing I wanted to bring is the saintly quality of Arjuna, not himself, the battlefield of the soft-heartedness and the experience. Expressing his compassion for his friends. How can I kill him? And he doesn't want. This is like other side of Arjuna's qualities for keeping up the reason like God creates for but his soft-heartedness is compassion. And it's quite a good amount of reason for reason and reason. There's things very naturally in that that's commotion or greatest amount of distress what is feeling. But his reasoning is very, very strong. And even though it's in one of the verses, he is talking about the adversaries. What are the 6 types of adversaries? Here in the verse number 36, organized fearful of the only a person can be attacked by a person is trying to poison another person, or be setting fire on the house, or be attacking deadly weapons, or be or be occupying another's land, or be trying to kidnap another's wife and harm the woman. Only to these personalities, today Pandava, today warrior, today face and kill. And somehow or the other, they do all the 6 kinds of aggressors on the Pandavas. They try to poison Bhishma, and they set fire. They set fire to the house of Pandavas. And they attack with their many times. And the plunder they will just have all the riches of empire, and they're trying to occupy the other land. And they were trying to kidnap another spy. They were trying to kidnap from the like the aggressor. And where Guru should be attacked because of these what they have done. They are like something which I can understand. Arjuna is having this wonderful qualities of simply qualities of Arjuna. There is expressing gratitude. There is no other objects. Even at one point, he expressed gratitude. I want to express my great amount of compassion and leave aside this battle. Just go to the forest and do begging. So even though my nature is not of it, but still I am living. Why? Because it's like something which I cannot harm. On such a big just to have it so wrong on my just that reason. There are few things which I thought I would present here, like the summary of the first chapter. What I was thinking. As nice last meeting before that this class is right to go and actually sit down on the chat express unwillingness to nature by the this is what gives a great amount of joy to Dhritarashtra also. As soon as Sanjay is telling this Dhritarashtra now the battle is over. This is like one of the communities of left side. The moment we see that Arjuna is not being banded, crying, Krishna doesn't come. That means now the battle. Because if Arjuna is not there, it's very easy for him to find that. But at the same time, Krishna understands soft hearted of Arjuna, Rashi Prasad, and the first part, first summary, the complete summary of the first chapter. Doubts are present here. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for this nectar summary of first chapter and verse 2, 3 explanation. First, second, and third. After a long time, we heard you. We miss you for 4 weekends, Sunday. So, welcome back, Prabhuji. I don't have any question, but if anybody has question, please go ahead. Okay. Prabhuji, would you like to share something about your West Coast visit?
I did not get your question. What?
We can't hear you, Prabhuji, clearly.
No, I did not get what you were telling.
Okay.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, the voice is not clear. I don't know, for some reason, I was also going to say in the middle, I don't disturb Prabhuji.
No, the voice wasn't clear when I was speaking.
Yeah, that time it was clear, but now it was not.
Now is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
No. Audible. Ask something that please share the experiences of something. I did not get what experience you want. That's what.
Okay. So, like, you visited which temples like that? I was asking.
Oh, on the West Coast. Oh, recently, by Lord Mercy, I happened to travel to LA for the Rath Yatra festival there.
Mm-hmm.
I went to visit my brother. My brother stays in San Jose.
Oh.
San Jose. I there by the mercy of devotees. I had the great fortune of associating with great Vijay Prabhu. Prabhu gave wonderful classes there, and Prabhu was very wonderful. And then I was at we had to drive from San Jose to LA. The flight got delayed a lot. Flight was in the morning, but somehow unfortunately the flight was delayed and it was in the night time. We had to drive in San Jose, drive from San Jose to LA. It's a 5 hours drive. Yeah. It was wonderful to have Vijay Prabhu while we were driving. And while we were driving, we were hearing education Maharaj lectures. And it was so amazing that Maharaj was speaking so clearly. One thing, Vijay Prabhu was appreciating a lot was, education Maharaj has somehow great amount of very good sense of presenting the right philosophy to the Western world very nicely. And it's like to everyone, but like still to the Western world, it's very, very appealing. And once again, we need more of such personalities in our movement. Present our philosophy to the right people at the right time. After that, we reached a day, and there was a very time. So we had very good other next day, Rath Yatra time, yeah, very beautiful. One of the best highlights for me for the Rath Yatra was the book distribution what we did with Vaishyatika Prabhu, Vijay Prabhu, Monster Prabhu. These are great warriors in our movement who are doing so much book distribution. And I have seen Monster Prabhu and his team, they distributed like around 12 Bhagavatam sets and around 10 CC sets and around 64 mission and mode, the set which Bhaktivedanta Maharaj at the time. There is a small set. So they distributed to 64 sets actually of those things. So in total, we distributed around 86 sets that day. And the Gitas and other things are separate. So it was like a wonderful thing that we could do during that LA Rath Yatra. That was like one of the best experiences what I had. Apart from the pulling of the Rath and the Kirtan and other things, was one of the highlights. I remember one of the Mataji walking by, he took part in the Kirtan for a long. And after some time, when devotees approached her for the books, immediately gave $1,000 to Bhagavatam that person. So it was like such an amazing thing. Just we have the desire to give Prabhupada books to others. Prabhupada somehow or the other makes things. This was very wonderful experience. This happened in front of me, so I was like so wonderful. It's like that. We have the desire to do it. Now Bhadra Purnima is coming for next month. So if anyone is eager to take part, it's like very easy actually. We should just approach the right, our contacts, our friends, relatives, and just ask, it's such a wonderful thing. I don't and for people here, $50, $70, $300 is not much actually. And they earn so much. For them, to give this much amount, not like a big thing. Like, we should take part and we should be very serious. Every in Mother Pro, if you have these, you all do like a lot of valuable sex. It just takes a little bit of, effort from our side and a desire that we want to please Krishna. And first of all, in this world, who doesn't have Bhagavatam? I want to take it. If anyone doesn't have a Bhagavatam certificate, I can do it right now. I think you have to give a full opportunity to take Bhagavatam. If you all don't have, you all can take Bhagavatam set. That will be the best thing. And if you have, you can try to do it with your others. Wonderful. And this was my experience with the best books for any life.
That's so amazing, Prabhuji. So amazing to hear about book distribution and when Vaishika Maharaj is there. So book distribution is so awesome. So So thank you so much. Yeah, and I request devotees, yes, Bhadra Purnima is coming up very close. So Bhagavatam distribution is very auspicious. So if you have Bhagavatam set, please distribute to others. If you don't have, so please um, get it for you from your local temple, or you can connect with me. We can send it to your home. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any question or comment? Okay, so let's.
Mataji, can little bit recap on Bhadra Purnima. What is the relevance of Bhadra Purnima? And I'm not able to recollect from last year. I had heard Bhadra Purnima is very important to distribute, but what is it? How is it connected to Prabhuji, or you can explain?
Yeah, Prabhuji, please, would you like to explain?
Oh yeah, Bhadra Purnima is a day when the Srimad Bhagavatam is being worshipped very nicely. There's a verse in Bhagavatam 17, where it is told that during this day, things like day where the Purnima is there, Bhadra Purnima is there, and during this day, one worships the Srimad Bhagavatam on the makes the Bhagavatam on the throne and worships the Srimad Bhagavatam, or if he worships, that's the best thing. If he's not able to worship, he's able to distribute it, or if he's able to come in touch with Bhagavatam, he gets the complete opportunity to go back on Bhagavatam just by doing this, worshipping or coming in touch with Bhagavatam or distributing Bhagavatam. More important thing is distributing the Bhagavatam. If we have it, we should. If we don't have it, we should have it. If not, then we should try to do it. That is the day when the Bhagavatam is worshipped. The worship of Bhagavatam is done. All the great changes actually they wanted of this Bhagavatam to be expanded, to be sent to everyone actually. The message of Bhagavatam to be sent to everyone. That is how the glory of Bhagavatam is there. That Srila Prabhupada, when Srila Prabhupada came here, yesterday we were hearing lecture by Srimad Prabhupada. He was telling very beautifully about how much Srila Prabhupada had struggled to print the first 3 volumes of Bhagavatam, first canto. It took almost like 3 years for him, 3 to 4 years for him to completely 1956, 1959, almost like 3-4 years for him to just print one volume of Bhagavatam. He had a plan of printing 60 volumes of Bhagavatam initially in 1955, and that is what he was expressing, that Prabhupada had struggled so much to print this one first volume. And why was he not ready to come during 1955 to US? Because he wanted that there should be something which would be able to present very strong. And what was the first thing he wanted to bring with him was this Srimad Bhagavatam. So he prepared himself by having Srimad Bhagavatam to come and deliver to all the countries. So it's very important when we read about, when we come in touch with Srimad Bhagavatam, it's one of the best things what we can happen. So that is why it's been so much encouraged. Recently, like in the past few years, we started this ISKCON movement has started this campaigning of Bhadra Purnima, where we wanted that every one there could be one Bhagavatam set, one series. And you see what great wonder can happen by having this Bhagavatam set. What will happen is they'll get just by having the sets also brings a great amount of auspicion in their life. So that is what is very, very important, and it will be the opportunity to have one Bhagavatam with them. If not, if they have. So I beg all devotees to take part very enthusiastically in the Purnima campaign. Also prepare their consciousness for the Dharmati festival what can come. Otherwise, it's becoming part of the lecture. And one should really prepare his consciousness by doing deeper in their understanding that it's not fasting. By reading them, the combination of both of Bhagavatam, go deeper and remembrance and prayers towards the Lord, especially during the Dharmati. It's not just a day where you just want to go and do something, but it's a time where we go deeper in our consciousness to make our relationship more stronger. Yeah.
And that happens only when we hear of the level. Which is the time where all devotees feel very strongly connected. In fact, the Prabhupada, when he was in New Zealand, Janmashtami, he was so absorbed in reading Krishna books that till midnight, almost like 2 o'clock, or almost like 2 o'clock midnight, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, they were reading one chapter of Srimad. The devotees were so tired, still they were hearing chapter of Krishna. And Prabhupada was so absorbed, so keen in Krishna. How much we should be absorbed in when that should be there to prepare our consciousness. Festivals are coming, we are going to prepare our Is that okay, Mataji?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. And also Bhadra Purnima is connected to Srimad Bhagvatam, right? It's not Bhagavad Gita and other books.
Bhagavad.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, my memory was a little bit, I'm refreshing my memory because I remember last time so enthusiastically Bhadra Purnima mein, they were distributing, books and everything like that. But I just wanted to clarify a little bit. So ahead of time, we can prepare, And also, Prabhuji, suppose we have like a set of CC, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and in which one or two books are missing. So in that case, what do we do with that set? It's not a complete set. What do we do with that set if the set is not complete?
If you want, you can take one more set and keep the set aside, or try to set. Not distribute it, but if someone has extra sets, then you can take the books from there. Sometimes we may misplace here and there. That's something. But we should try if someone has an extra set. We can get some books, whatever you not then it will get any.
Yeah, but it's not good to distribute the book which is not like a complete set. No, it's good to give a whole set.
Yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful class, especially about the conch shell you were explaining. I joined a little later, and whenever we hear the story of Duryodhan and Arjun, how Arjun chose Krishna. It is we can so nicely compare to the material world, where there are materialistic people and then there are devotees. Devotees are so surrendered to Krishna. So this Bhagavad Gita is teaching us so much, especially in regard to this, that we sometimes can get very frustrated also, like like materialistic people are like that. But then the whole thing is presented to us, like through the Bhagavad Gita, which is very, very encouraging to us, because we know that during Krishna's time, 5,000 years back also, when this book was spoken on the battlefield, that time also there were people like this, who were materialistic and atheistic and Mayavadi and all these things were there prevalent. But devotee really have to keep themselves afloat, like a lotus flower, and just shine and spread the Krishna consciousness. So just one realization came to me, so I thought I'll just share that. Not realization, just some thoughts, Prabhuji. But thank you so much for explaining so nicely and summarizing the Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else want to share something before the end?
Prabhuji, for today, for some reason, the voice of yours is not clear. For me, it's like coming, going, coming, slow, and then I don't know whether you are on the speaker phone or was there some other device you used to use earlier?
No, I think there might be some problem with the network. I will have to just change it. Next time I'll make sure that I have a proper network. Now the voice is little clear.
Yeah, it's clear, but then abhi beach mein when you spoke, it became very clear. Maybe you came close to the mic, or
Yeah, I think I came closer to the mic.
yeah. Otherwise, sometimes people use something on the head.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that way then what we do is we keep the phone right close to our ear to listen. It's not like crystal noise coming from far on the phone, but if you can make some adjustment next time.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Let me just end the call here. The Prabhupada.
Yeah. भगवद गीता की जय।
Jai.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमाचार्य शरदास ठाकुर की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। भगवद गीता की जय। इस ग्रेस गोपाल प्राण श्री गोपाल प्राण प्रभु की जय। थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा।
Thank you, Prabhuji.
प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna. Dana Pranam. Hare Krishna.